So it looks like Real Housewives of Atlanta will soon be changing their name to Real Liars of Atlanta, because the show is steady proving one thing: just about everybody is up there lying.
What in the world is this girl sitting up here talking about? Somebody sabotaging her, okay?
Right, because she's the one. If you want to talk about how, what do they say, the rot starts from the top, because Porsha and whoever else is up there in the executive office are acting like she is the top or the head of this show. The rot starts there, because every time you turn around, you got one question for Porsha: why you always lying, girl? Like, what in the world? It makes no sense. She's up there talking about she came to the reunion because she wanted the truth to be out there. Meanwhile, she's getting proven to be lying at every turn. It's crazy.
Exactly. And it's like, you know what? I'm not putting anything past Shamia as far as what she came on the show to do and how she was all first in behind this girl and, copying her to the extent that she's fighting every one of her battles for her with everybody. Every little thing that Porsha got going on with somebody, here she comes jumping in. And so I'm not putting anything past her, but the audacity of Porsha Williams to say somebody is sabotaging her when she did every bit of sabotage to get Kenya Moore off that show.
Exactly.
Okay? And now she's trying to play like, oh, she's the heroine and she's the victim.
Exactly.
And she's the heroine at the same time, because they were trying to sabotage her. No, darling. Mm-hmm. They tried to sabotage Kenya. And that's why the show is on the heels that it's on now. Because when that backfired, everything went to HE double hockey sticks, as this girl also had the nerve to say. Porsha had the nerve to say that Kenya messed up the show. She had the nerve.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
What?
Yeah, right. She is at herself, because when their sabotage against Kenya did not work, the show plummeted. The ratings were down. Everything went downhill. And yeah, that's why she's PO'd at her own self, okay? Because everything went downhill. They had no idea how much Kenya Moore brought to that show until they found out, baby, okay? Sitting up there with indignation and talking about, oh, she didn't know Kenya was going to go to the pits of... I'm like, girl, no, you know who went to the pits? You did. You went to the pits of HE double hockey stick when you told those people what you would do to Angela's husband.
Exactly.
There's no coming back from that. That was a nasty work.
Right. And no accountability, because she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything about that. She don't remember anything. So she wants all this accountability for everybody else, but it's not going to take actual accountability for the real rank stuff that she's done. And then why are we supposed to believe that of all people, everybody in the show is having all these private telephone conversations with Porsha that can never be verified? So supposedly Kenya called Porsha and told her that Drew gave her some information and to do this thing with Britt. And when Kenya comes outright and says no one gave her that information, now all of a sudden Kenya calls Porsha again and tells her after that oh yeah, I didn't say Drew did that. And come on, Porsha is the one that people are having these truth-bearing conversations with?
Not at all. It's something else.
Please.
She's as Wendy Williams used to say, the friend in my head. It's the dialogue in her own head that she's having all these conversations behind the scene on the phone with people, just like she's sitting up here talking about somebody messed up the show. She messed up the show.
Exactly.
She messed it up. See, she's projecting.
Right.
She messed it up when she couldn't bring those people back the storyline that she promised them with this Simon marriage, okay?
Exactly.
She messed up, and now she's going to project that and try to throw it on Kenya. Baby, we ain't letting you get away with that. No, you ain't getting away with that. You messed it up when it didn't go as you saw, and you brought the thing to the pits of HELL, okay?
Exactly.
You brought the thing to the pit. And also, Britt sort of told on all of you all because she felt that after she played her role in getting Kenya off the show, she felt all of a sudden there was a turn.
Right.
And they start acting funny toward her.
Yep.
And I would say right she is, because after she did what she came there to do, what they wanted her to do, they didn't want to have anything else to do with her.
And that's what
she felt.
And that's what Porsha said that she felt. Porsha actually said that she talked with Britt, and Britt said that, you know, she felt that they turned against her and they kicked her out the alliance or whatnot. So here she is again telling off on something with her half-truths with things. It's ridiculous. And then for her to have the nerve to say that, you know, she was disappointed in Kenya, piggybacking off of what Cynthia was saying about how she was disappointed in what Kenya did because, you know, she expected better than her.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
It's no problem with Cynthia wanting to, you know, say, okay, well, I wish you hadn't gone that far. I wish you hadn't done that at your show or whatnot. But she's trying to act like she wasn't playing favorites when she was. Because here's the thing. It's not about her standing up and saying, oh, Kenya, that was wrong. You shouldn't have done it. It's the fact that she went on this whole type of interview press run where she said that on just about every interview that she gave regarding this, how wrong Kenya was, how she shouldn't have done that, how it was low and she should have da-da-da. But yet, in those very same interviews, whenever they bring up Britt and the reason behind why Kenya may have felt she had to go that far, and this is after they aired the show where Britt made those comments about having that blicky for Kenya.
Right.
Then Cynthia, instead of standing 10 toes down and talking about wrong behavior and what shouldn't have been done, now all of a sudden Cynthia didn't see anything. Oh, I wasn't there for that, so I can't speak on that. So you can speak on the fact that, okay, Kenya shouldn't have done that, this was wrong, da-da-da. But since you've been able to actually watch the show and see the comments that Britt made, you still can't speak on her saying something like that? That's crazy. She always sidestepped having any sort of accountability for Britt's behavior, but then want to throw everything at Kenya with that. That's where people are talking about that's not a friend as far as that's concerned. Because yeah, you can say, okay, girl, you could have done better. You're better than that. You're above that. But the fact that she wants to put all the heat on Kenya, but then when there's another place that there should be some heat on, oh, I didn't see that. I don't know what to say. I can't comment on that. I don't know nothing about that.
Don't get me started on Cynthia, okay? Because the fans saw straight through it. They're the ones that are calling this out. That's why Andy sat there and read those comments about the fans saying, why weren't you there for Kenya? Don't get me started on her, because to get started on her, I would have to bring in her ex, who's over there running his mouth big time on the wonderful Nene Leakes show, okay? Running his mouth big time. So don't get me started on her. There is so much that I could say about the underhandedness. And it's, as you said, you know, it's okay that you're going to say, well, you didn't approve of the way she did that. Nevertheless, you're not Kenya. Kenya had a right to do it whatever way she wanted. But then you have to go on there, a press tour, and every time you turn around, you're talking against Kenya and saying these things about her. And you're saying, oh, like, you're so much above what Kenya did? Come on. That's the sentiment that you were out there giving. Girl, go someplace and sit down, because you know what? It's just a bunch of crap. Yeah. Because it all went south. It all went to, you know what I'm trying to say. It all went there when they did what they did. That's why now you see them on this panel. They're all scrambling to say something to fill in the void that was left after the abrupt Kenya Moore exit, because they did not expect that so soon. No, they didn't expect that as soon as that. That's why it's like, what happened? They knew they had set the wheels in motion to mess with Kenya. Right. And then when it happened so quickly like that, because Kenya said, How dare you?
Right, and it's crazy because another part where Porsha kind of gave it away was when she said that she knew that Kenya had the information about Brit, so she was trying to help shape how Kenya would put it out. What do you mean, help shape how Kenya? Kenya doesn't need your help for doing what she's gonna do to get whatever.
Exactly.
And
I'm like,
she
what?
called Kenya a loose cannon.
No, you girl.
And so she knew that because now Kenya Moore is a loose cannon, that she needed to help Kenya Moore shape her revenge against how she was going to get back at Britt. Ma'am, what do you mean shape her revenge? So now it's her giving away again how much she had to do with this whole thing, with the information coming out about Britt, who apparently that wasn't even Britt in the pictures now. Yep, she's telling again. That was the sabotage. That was the scheme. That was the alliance. She telling off on herself yet again. And it's like you said, as soon as they did that and messed up the show, they didn't know it was going to happen that quickly for Kenya to just be off the show, and now they had nothing to offer the people. And then when they finally bring Phaedra on there, only for her to come in with more just lies and deflection. When she came in with all that fakery and the lies and everything like that, Shamia was doing these press runs too, and they would bring up the subject of how does she feel when Phaedra was the one who said all that stuff against her and Candy back in season 9 too. She was saying how Shamia was doing some stuff she shouldn't have been doing as a married woman with Candy and all that stuff and being all around town. When they actually brought this up on the reunion, well, what's the resolution with that? Whatever happened? And Shamia said, well, Phaedra's never apologized to her about that. And Phaedra goes, well, she's sorry, but she never meant that for public consumption. What do you mean you never meant that for public consumption when you said it on a public show?
Right.
It's like the lies it's rotting their brains. I don't know. It's just crazy.
It's doing something to their souls. As I said other time.
Absolutely.
That they have so many lies going around in their head. They don't know how to keep anything straight.
Nope.
And it's really messing with them. And this girl projecting so much, talking about somebody going to the pits when she's the one that has done that with the reputation that she has. She's projecting that, saying what she would do to Charles, and then other things that she has done, even earlier on, calling Drew out of her name like that.
Right.
I'm like, girl,
yeah,
Drew, what are you doing? Talking about she's a low-life, I don't even know what she said. It was so horrible.
Saw the low down, dirty. It was terrible.
It was
terrible because it came out of nowhere for just some BS, really.
Because she had to make up the storyline.
Exactly. And the crazy thing about it is when she brought up that whole thing about, oh, Drew is the one who gave Kenya the information. And Drew was like, well, Drew deflected. It was like, girl, just give it a yes or no. Just keep it with no. You didn't do it. And he's like, I never heard that. Anyway, forget about that part. Just the part that when she said that Drew gave Kenya the information and Drew basically was denying it in a sense. And because Drew brought up the fact that Kenya came out and said that no housewife gave her the information. And then Porsha wants to come back with that. Oh no, Kenya called me and she didn't go back and forth and da-da-da. Yeah, well, after you put that on your YouTube channel, Kenya came out publicly on social media and said, no, that's a lie.
Exactly.
So we don't need to act like you're the one that they're going to go and be this arbiter of truth on, because it's not you, Porsha. That's not you. But the thing is, she is going to ask the question, why out of all people would I choose Drew to say that Drew gave Kenya the information? Yeah, we know why. What are you acting like you didn't spend the whole first episode calling this girl all kinds of whatever out of nowhere? So yeah, why wouldn't you say that Drew was the one who gave Kenya the information to try to back up the lies that you were saying about her in the beginning, the names you were calling her in the beginning?
Exactly.
It's like, girl, I mean, I get that you are on here putting on the character for this show because she admitted that herself. She basically says she don't even know what be coming out of her mouth when she's on this show. This is a very small part of her real life.
She did say that.
So I understand you putting on the character, but you got to start keeping track of some of these lies. It's like she don't care. She just come out and say this, that, the other. And it don't even matter when they play back the clips and it proves something else. She just still standing like, girl, she don't care.
And it's so interesting because reality TV, you were supposed to come as you are. And she's out here pulling all this stuff and people are seeing straight through it. And she can't keep it straight. And it's one lie, one fabrication, one visual after another. And no, girl, she did not mess up the show. You messed up the show because you couldn't bring those people what you promised them.
Exactly.
And y'all just went in overdrive to try to find out how we gonna keep this thing afloat after Kenya Moore exit. Yes, that's what you did. That's it. That's all.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.